What's the crack, lads? Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are going to be doing a tier list for all 15 free epic cards in the 30th anniversary selection box. So let me know who you picked, let me know if you agree or disagree with my choices, and all 15 cards are going to be ranked and rated with a couple of surprises and a couple of disappointments. So let's get straight into it. So obviously S is the best tier in this, and then obviously C is the worst. And I think it's fairly self-explanatory that you are going to be having 3 or 4 that are just the ultimate picks in this. So I'm going to explain why, starting with the best card that I don't think anyone can complain about. He's probably the best free card right now. He hasn't been nerfed yet, but he might be. But Cannavaro is just an absolute beast. I think he's probably top 5 CBs in the game right now. He's definitely probably the freest and bestest, freest card. I don't know what I'm saying. But he is probably like one of the best free cards they've ever released. Look at the stats. He's also got 90 speed. Absolute beast. Now, obviously on the other side of the coin, we have the Nielsen in our first C tier. I don't think that this is that difficult, I suppose, to pick, because the Nielsen is just, he doesn't have any, superb stat. Now, Oliver Kahn is one that has been very controversial. A lot of people have been asking me where I place him. Honestly, lads, the goalkeeping at the moment, when you've got stuff like this happening with 105, 106 rated keepers, it's very, very frustrating, and it's very difficult to actually place him any higher than A. The only reason he's in here in A is because Casillas is down as a C. Casillas doesn't hit barely any of the thresholds. He's smaller than Can, and he's just a bad pick in this. In a vacuum, obviously these cards are A's, B's, and S's, and C's, or whatever. But in the wider scale of things, these cards are not going to rate that high on an ultimate tier list per position. That's why I've put Kaka here as well. I don't think that we can put Kaka any higher unless you are really playing to his strengths. He just doesn't do it as well as the other midfielders in this selection, in my opinion. Now, I know people are going to say Stochkovic is probably the same, but I actually put him A. I've tested a lot of these cards, co-op, divisions, friendlies. I've tested them on different ways, different play styles, different teams throughout the last couple of months. Scholesy for me is just a step above. I would potentially, if I was being very, very, very biased, I would probably put Scholesy into S tier, but I'm trying to keep it as fair as possible and give you guys the most thorough, explanations of this. Also with Puyol, I would probably put Puyol beside Kaka here. He's not quite an A tier or a C tier. B is probably just the perfect place for him. Again, doesn't hit certain thresholds, which is a pity. It's quite a poor Puyol card. You just cannot put him any higher than this, with the gap between, Caceres, Cannavaro, and Puyol. Van Basten into A as well. And then also the man that I mentioned there, Diego Forlan, and Caceres, his Uruguayan teammate. Forlan and Van Basten, they're very, very, very similar, but slightly different in terms of how they feel on the pitch. Forlan is like Shevchenko, Rummy, Dennis Law, whereas Van Basten is a bit like Drogba, Adriano-esque. He's more power and a bit clunkier. So, make it that what you want. Also, we've got Blitz Curler Bale. I know a lot of people are saying he's a free Blitz Curler. He actually has quite decent stats. And I know that, people will be able to put up clips and come back at me in the comments and say, Bale is not a B tier. He's S tier for me, blah, blah, blah. There's always going to be exceptions. But this is what I look for in kind of S tier cards. Caceres, absolute beast, can play multiple positions, has a fortress booster and showtime skill, and just very, very solid all around. I can't place him above Cannavaro, but he is above Puyol, and he can play multiple positions. He can attack if you want to build him different ways. We also have Bebeto. I will be honest, lads. I always thought that Romario was probably the best Brazilian striker before they added Pele, but Bebeto yesterday in the stream when we were playing, he is unbelievable. Finesse finish, left foot finish, off balance, and then simple tap-ins for a fox in the box. He's insane. If you are set defensively and you don't need Cannavaro, I would probably pick Bebeto as the second best pick. We'll show you here when I tidy up the tier list. Also, Xabi Alonso. Does he go S tier or A tier? For me, as I already mentioned, him and Scholes are so similar, right? They're super, super similar. So if I was putting Xabi Alonso into S, I'd have to put Scholes. And I want to make a little bit of a, I want it to be hard for me to pick my top 4. I only want to have 4 players in S tier. So that's why I'm going to switch Xabi Alonso down here with Scholes and with Wayne Rooney. I think Rooney can be potentially S tier. He definitely is buffed or boosted at the moment, while other players have been nerfed. But I feel like a lot of people don't take long range shots. Like for me, I always try and protect or maybe exploit that middle of the pitch where you kind of have your whole players. And I think Rooney in that situation, I think he's equally as good when he's shooting as the likes of Schneider, Scholesy, Seedorf, but he's not as silky as, the best of the best whole players like Musiala, Platini. All those boys are just a step above. Again, Scholesy, you could not argue if I put Scholesy into S tier here if you've played with Scholesy. I feel like a lot of people will sleep on Xabi Alonso, Scholes and Rooney because they probably won't play with him as much. Like Rooney for me, I think is definitely probably the third best pick in this, even though he's not in S tier. And I know that's making a hypocrite of myself, but I feel like that, like Cannavaro is the ultimate pick. You cannot go wrong with Cannavaro. You will never regret getting Cannavaro unless they, nerf him. But that goes for the same for every card. Pele could be nerfed. Bebeto is unbelievable if you're looking for a fox in the box, smaller Mario-esque type striker. And then Forlan is better than Van Basten. Caceres is better than Puyol. But I would definitely have Scholes, Rooney and Xabi Alonso right below that as well. But let me know what you guys think. That is it for my ultimate tier list for the 15 free epic selection box. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Don't forget to smack that subscribe button if you're enjoying the content. We will be back with some more videos soon, and I'll talk to you then. Peace.